memory?
Okay, unfortunately, I haven't had the privilege, like everybody else, to actually really get to know you. But in our first meeting, we had such a connection. So for me, the connection was what symbolizes for me. Okay, and it doesn't matter how far you go, you can always extend and connect.
Sure.
Are you talking about the very first connection?
Yes, the very first.
That was a day when Jenny had lined up an interview, and I wasn't going to be in that interview at all. And then Jenny, you couldn't be there because of family circumstances, and so I was on my way to Pretoria, so I said I would try and pop into the interview, but I had to pull off at the engine, and then I zoomed in from the car and just met you and interacted with you, and then I had to zoom off. And then after the appointment, I called Roland and Hennie, and we debriefed. And it was just yes in capital letters. It was absolutely.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, that connection for me was amazing.
It was definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm not very good at speeches, but Karen, I also didn't have a lot of time to get to really know you. So when I started, it was just a couple of weeks. I was so focused on the work, and then it was lockdown. But that soap is to say what I've experienced in the short period, your firmness and yet gentleness. So that's what the soap represents. Firm, yet gentle, kind, the fruit of the Spirit I have picked up in you. So soap is there to cleanse, and it is also to nourish, and that's my prayer for you going forward, that you will remain that person that you are, gentle, kind, and just be a light and be there for people to experience that way of washing. You know, we know that we are washed by the Word of God. So, and I know you carry the Word of God in you. So that will be a reminder just to continue in that way. Thank you very much for all you've been and done for me in this year and a couple of months. Thank you, Karen. Bless you.
No, on the front? Yeah. It says, Kusi Aromat. Yeah, this is a little bottle of coffee from Russia. It reminds me of the time you invited me for special coffee. Yes, by doing that, she also acknowledged me as a little outsider, but still part of the team. Thank you. You always made me feel part of the team. And it makes me thinking back when actually I met you first. I was still working in the Russian world with the, what was that called? The adult training?
That's right,
Learning that last. I came to Nampula there. That was good, yes. Yeah, I don't know what changed, but definitely under your leadership here, many things changed, and especially Wycliffe is actually doing something nowadays. Thank you, that's good to know. You're not just organizing things, you're also doing things. We're also doing translation work and translation-related work, yes. And I have to include Sebastian in that. Of course, you're a team. Thank you both for being a team.
That I'm not creative at all. So Johanna wrote me these little notes. Hennie, do you have something for the grabbel ton? Can I help you? What can I do for you? So, but those are two pictures of Karen and Sebastian visiting our church, Neos. I think the oldest one is 2013 and the other one is 2015. So that was the first time that I met Karen and Sebastian when they came to our church, and when we became the church has been supporting them for a lot longer than that. But when we became the mission coordinators, me and Arina, then we met Sebastian and Karen. And I just want to say that they were the most, they were the first ones that would respond, because we had an annual mission festival and you have to invite the people and you're not sure that they're going to come and so on. But we soon knew that you can trust Karen and Sebastian. They would come, they would be there. They've always very encouraged us. They have spoken with passion, and it was just always a real blessing for us as a congregation to hear what they do and so on. So that's just my first reminders, Karen, of you and Sebastian. And yes, it was then a real pleasure after a number of years to even join Wycliffe and now be part of it in a much greater way.
Thank you, Hennie. I'm glad you did.
Came right out of the bottom and almost invisible, because we all know that Karen prays, and you've often prayed during our team meetings, but I've also been aware that there's a lot of prayer that has been going on in the background. I think some of us are more aware of that, maybe all of us are aware, I don't know, but it's something that is invisible, and yet that has, I'm quite sure, so determined your leadership. We've seen in you somebody who's just so dependent on the Lord in everything that you're doing. So it's, I felt it was very symbolic of something that is very essentially you.
You know, most people's has been very light-hearted that this is going to be quite serious. If you go to the Kruger Park, you see the big five, but then there's also the little five. So, the theme, Karen, that we've had recently are all about the rocks, and I thought I'd continue that theme, but with the little five, in a way of. So this is about the stones, and I thought I would give you some stones that have special meaning in terms of our connections. So the first one, if I can find it. So this first stone is actually a part of the bricks of the parking at the Wycliffe office.
The bricks.
So that was the first time we ever met, was at Edenvale when I came through to do the Kairos course. So this is actually kind of a theme of parking lots of the world where we met. It'll be very meaningful. This one is a stone of the gravel from the parking of St. Andrews, the Roelie. Parking lot there. I think actually you parked at that spot where that stone was from. I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe you stepped on that stone.
Then more recently, we actually we visited your house, and I managed to find this stone in our tires. The tires that's from your house. It was really, and then memorable. At the board meeting, before we went to the restaurant for the dinner, you came to our house. So this is from our driveway, from our house. And then you might remember, not everybody knows this, but I was asked to open in prayer at the board dinner, and I prayed a prayer, and as I got to the words about how our lives connect, and I said, as we bump into each other, and at that moment the waitress brought our drinks, but I think Jenny had closed the door, and so she walked straight into the door, and dropped the whole tray of all the glasses and the drinks as I prayed about bumping into each other. So in that distraction of trying to get all that sorted, I went downstairs, and under the stairwells at Villa Bianca, there's a whole little white stone. So I actually got that from Villa Bianca, genuinely.
They're going to come hunt for us and ask for their stone back.
And then the last time that we got together, we had that moment where in the boardroom, for those of us that went to do that prayer thing, and we had that little stone we had to put out. So I've got just a reminder of that. There are 3 stones stuck with press stick, just as a reminder of that special moment that we had. And then the last one is not really about where we've met. All of those were, but this is a polished jasper from Madagascar. So that's just in terms of our connection, and I also got this one as well, which just looks a bit more beautiful. So at least it's something of meaning. Wow. So you can put it in the special purse that I designed. I was thinking if we need to raise funds, we could actually, do something as a line. The wool, we just cut out a Woolworths packet.
Extinct.
It took 10 years to go.
Anything else you would like to share for our people who were not,
Yeah, we don't have
who did not know about the green pens?
As that pen's maybe around 10 years old. And we had boxes of them in the safe. And for some reason, Peter disliked them.
It didn't work.
Yeah,
50 words, that's it.
yeah. Now you literally throw them and...
I've still got one that's working.
Okay, well maybe give it to Elizabeth. She can. But yeah, so for every birthday, somebody got a box of pens that don't work. But yeah, and also Karen thinks with a pen in her hand. She has to have a paper and then she draws something with a pen in her hand. I'm a bit like that too, but yeah.
We got it from a stationery shop that gave us lots of stuff. I remember tidying up the safe room, which had, and there were just, I had never seen so many boxes of the same pens in there. So I distributed them, but there were still boxes.
But they have our branding. They do. It says God's word for everyone, and then it's got Wicked South Africa and our butterfly logo. The open book. So you need to
Fetch a price in a few years.
I use them quite well. My Bible storytelling workshops, I handed out about 3 or 4 boxes worth of pens, and the people just love the pens.
Did they ever try and see if they would?
Well, some people got 2 or 3.
Thank you. That was a very special idea. I hope that
Was that the last one? Yeah. What came out is that you bring out the best in all of us. In me it's been the creativity, which you've just seen the result of. Even the, but you brought creativity out in each one of us. I just want to thank everybody. It's been really entertaining and very special. But if you like, you could keep the plastic bag with all the shredded papers that you've gone through over the years. Shall I give the card now? Yeah. And there's one more. And I'll just give it a quick one through for those who haven't seen it. So it says, thank you, Karen, for leading us with vision and dedication and creativity. But it starts with 2009, which is, I think, when you first got into the office. And then 2010, when Roy and Rose joined. And there's Roland there as well. And so we go through it year by year. And we've sometimes said, Karen, that you care for the sheep for whom you are responsible. I just have to give my apologies for those who are on the leadership team that you've been assigned a sheep to sign. It was only later that I thought I should actually have a couple of sheep dogs. But that idea came too late, unfortunately. And so it goes through the time of when people joined the team. Of course, others have joined and left again, but these are the names of those who are now here. 2016, 2017, right up to the point of the handover, where your road goes in a different way from the team with Alan. And there's one sheep, Alan, you've got other sheep as well. And they're kind of, whoa, what is happening here? You know, what is Alan doing? Eventually, sorry? The sheep are going with Alan on the road that eventually, and Karen's road too, will lead to the grand vision that is our central theme, which is for the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. So, yeah, I regretted starting on this, but I couldn't think of anything else.